Jen's going to talk a little bit about the teacher salary program, since that is also impacted on our budget.
Okay, before I get started on the next section, I want to ask the people that are in the room, how many people know the three components of a teacher salary schedule? Okay, so maybe less than half of the room. All right, so that's what I'm going to talk about. And so if the rest of you can be patient with us in trying to understand the components, that would be great. The components of the salary schedule are base plus step plus okay, base plus step plus lane. Now, before I even get started on any of this, I want to point out that this is the actual salary schedule from the District 15, from their website. You can see the data source down there is CCSD 15, and that shows you where the website is. So this isn't anything that we, compile the data and put it together ourselves. You can find this on the website. So if you think this is interesting, if you want to do any further research here, go at it, because this is on the website. So what I'm going to do now is just take a few minutes. It's going to be a little mini math class almost, talking about how they arrive at teachers' pay every year. So again, there are three components: base plus step plus lane. In following this particular schedule, base is determined year to year. So this is the 2009-2010 salary schedule. When you get a base increase, you move to the next salary schedule, or the next calendar year, school calendar year. So we're going to take an example of a teacher who's just at ground zero, okay? And we just picked this as an example so that we can just try to run through this so that you can understand it as a whole, okay? So this person, we'll call her Jean, she starts out her first year employment. She hasn't been with the district before, so she's right at zero. And she starts out at $40,000, $40,463. She has the top line there describes a person's education, okay? So she starts out with a BA, with her bachelor's, and she's at her first year, and so she's at $40,000. Now, as she moves along to the next year, again, it'll be the next salary schedule, so it'll be a whole different set of numbers to determine base, okay? The next is, as you move down the column, that is a step increase. So the next, when she moves into the next year, after completing her first year, she will be moving down a column, okay? If she receives any additional education, she moves across the column to get her lane increase, okay? So base is from schedule to schedule, step is going down the schedule, and lane is going across the columns. So now she's making 40. Now you'll notice that the whole schedule changed. All the cells in here changed because it's another year, and each one of these cells went up. So that's their base raise. Then on top of base, she gets a step increase because she has another year of experience. So now she's making $42,000, okay? So if we calculate her base increase, that was 1.19%. Her step increase for having another year of experience on top of her base is 4.19, and the total increase is 5.43%. Now, just in this particular example, Jean, who we're pretending this is particularly ambitious, and she's got her master's or additional coursework right away. Again, this is just for example, so you can understand how this chart works. So now, because she has 16 hours toward her master's, she moves across into another lane, okay? So now she has her base increase, and you've noticed that as we've gone from schedule to schedule, year to year, this first number has changed and is increased. So again, that's base, okay? So now at this point, her base from the previous year was a 1.45% increase for that type of raise or increase. Her step increase is 4.02, and her lane increase is 6.75, for a total increase of 12.65. Now, if you look at from when she started to where she is now, that increase is 18.76.
Were those assumptions that they had for the projections at 3.49, assuming all three components?
Yeah, I don't.
It did not
I don't-
include base, to the best of our knowledge, it did not include the base, it will include the step
Step
and
lane
lane.
thing. I want to finish with one other thing here before I hand this over. So, how many people were aware of the additive effects of the salary bumps? Base plus step plus height, okay? All right, some people were. Many people, or the majority of the people in this room, didn't raise their hand. And I don't think that's through any fault of your own, even if you've been trying to read newspapers. Because these three components are often very underreported when you're trying to read the news and when you're trying to understand how this all works out. For example, I have the front page of the Daily Herald from 2006. Remember I had mentioned there was a CTC negotiation back in 2006? This is the front page. District 15 teachers make it official. It says right here that a new 3-year deal includes a base salary increase of 2.12% the first year and 2.13% the following 2 years. Okay? So that's what's on the front page news here. No additional information. Maybe additional information wasn't available at the time. Who knows? But that's what's here. And I do remember when I was trying to follow it, it was very hard to get the full picture. So now I'm going to give you a little bit of homework as you head through the rest of this presentation. I want you to remember this 2006 date, and I want you to remember that 2.13% raise. And I want you to try to figure out what really was the additive average increase in years 2007 and 2008 that were a result of this negotiation.
Do teachers also get a cost of living adjustment in addition to this?
No, this is all part of that.
COLA is what you would consider nominally in that first base. That's the one, whatever, that most of the rest of us might look at if you go into a company and you say you've got,